No one knows exactly when the first marriage took place. People have been getting married for thousands of years. It's an ancient institution. But for some people, it's perhaps a bit too ancient. 89% of the world's population now live in countries with falling marriage rates. This is especially pronounced in the richest countries. Among the 38 OECD nations, most recorded between 7 and 10 marriages per 1,000 people in 1970. By 1995, this fell to around 5 to 7 marriages, and it continues to plummet today. So why is this happening, and will it spell the end of marriage as we know it?
Marriage is the most expensive way to get. It's super expensive, and you pay to not get any. That's what you're paying for. You're paying for the 8 times a month that you might get it. 6 to 8 times a month. Married people, and I'm not talking about newly married people, 6 to 8 times a month. If you think you're going to be married for more than 5 years and getting it 20 times a month, you're out of your mind. You still going to have to pay to go get some on the outside.
We all know that women are hypergamous. That is a biological thing. So this marriage rule applies to America, maybe not China, but women are hypergamous. And you're going to see that in this marriage wheel for America. This is CGA's marriage wheel, and it starts with engagement, wedding planning, and where you have the honeymoon phase of your relationship. First comes marriage, then comes the baby, so children, house, car, marriage bills, spending money on all these family school trips, activities, hospital costs, and down here it says the wife becomes a feminist because she's at home, bored working, doesn't feel appreciated. So the drinking increases, the man continues to work, he's putting in 80 hours of work, where the wife, of course, becomes unhappy and starts to have her girls' night out, and sexless marriage as well, by the way. Then once she's unhappy enough, she goes divorce, and you get a family lawyer. You are raked over the coals in court by having alimony, losing your kids, losing your house. This is like worst case scenario, but the ex-husband becomes suicidal, possibly, goes MGTOW, maybe they get divorced again, maybe doesn't learn his lesson, and has to go through family court again. But this is the marriage wheel for America, and women file for divorce 80% of the time. So
Miss Cardiff, California, own the trucking business, it says here.
The trucking business in San Diego.
Good for you. And talk about your family.
I've been trapped in a loveless marriage for the last 12 years to an old battle axe named Kim. She cursed my life with 3 stepchildren named Star, RJ, and Ryan, and I have 1 rotten grandson.
Yeah. Why?
A stable marriage has often been associated with financial stability. Married households in the US hold significantly higher wealth than cohabiting couples or singles. But despite this, the marriage rate in the US has dropped by nearly 60% since the 1970s. And the median age for first-time marriages has increased for both women and men.
For a variety of reasons, I think upper middle class Americans are just much more likely to be kind of intentional about sequencing their lives in terms of education first, work second, marriage third, and the baby carriage after all of that. And so they're just in a much better spot, both financially and relationship-wise, when they go ahead and have kids.
No, this is not how it should work. It should not come work second. It should become marriage first, then education, then work.
Getting married is just the tip of the iceberg. Starting a family adds all sorts of economic commitments. It typically starts with a house, followed by a car, maybe kids, which means more expenses like books, toys, and family vacations. In a nutshell, you become a fully engaged consumer in the economy.
And this is the American dream we are all sold. Becoming consumers to the economic system, all tied together in a pretty marriage contract where the woman has the power. You see, marriage was to help women out, to protect her at an old age, so that her husband would take care of her as she got older. But now, women are the ones divorcing They're the ones leaving and thinking that they have all these dating options out here, when in reality, marriage was to protect us from the real world out there. And the fact of the matter is if you get out here on these dating apps, you are in for a serious rude awakening. There are sharks out here who will run through you because men want sex. And these women are giving it up. They're giving it up.
From about 1980 to the present, there's been no greater increase in family instability than there has been among this working class demographic in the US, sort of in basically the second quintile of the family income distribution. So one major factor, of course, is sort of the changing economy and the way in which working class men are less likely to be stably employed.
American adults from high-income groups have maintained a stable marriage rate since the 1970s. But among the middle and especially lower-income groups, marriages declined to 66 and 38% respectively by 2018. Since the 1970s, there has been a decline in the number of American men without college degrees in the US labor force. The last 50 years also saw their earnings stagnate and decrease.
And this actually all links together because if you notice that marriage rates are decreasing, single mother homes are also increasing. And we all know that single mother households are linked to higher high school dropout rates. So listen to this breakdown from Judge Brown.
Right? The breakdown of the family means the breakdown of a nation when you just laid out the definition of a nation. So Asians have their nation, even Hispanics. We don't have a nation anymore.
Now, I'm not saying that Black women shouldn't be strong. On the contrary, but the problem is some of those strong Black women are raising their sons to be very weak.
Exactly, which is
and
like
dependent.
Their lives in the house. So,
Yeah. The circumstance for all ethnicities is rather astonishing. In the last 20 years, for all ethnicities, on average, only 28% of each year's high school graduates are male. Only 32% of the college undergrads are male. Only 36% of the college grad students are male. Only 44% of the workforce is male. And here's the other thing that's interesting. There are more boy virgins 25 years of age and under than there are girls who are virgins. And there are more boys who live at home with a parent 30 and under than there are girls who live at home with a parent 30 and under. So who's raising these boys to be so inept and non-productive?
By contrast, we're seeing women having a more secure footing in today's sort of more service post-industrial economy. And so we know that marriage is many things, but it's also in part a financial undertaking. So when you have men who are losing ground financially in this working class demographic and women who are gaining ground, I think they both kind of see the guy is less marriageable. And so they're less likely to kind of get married in the first place and more likely to get divorced in the second place.
I mean, let's be real. If marriage rates are decreasing, single motherhood is increasing, and high school dropout rates are increasing, and divorces are happening a lot more, who's the problem? Like, what's the problem? Welcome to the Man Key Dating Channel, where we talk about the feminist movement mixed with female liberation in today's dating market. Please click the subscribe button, please like the video, and be nice as you come along with me on my learning journey as a single mother dating a high-value man.